All right, so we're going to be going over, network peering setup. Um, you may not understand what network peering really is, but really what this is, within an organization node, a network could be hosting services that need to be accessible from another network, within, same project or even different project. Alternatively, one organization may want to access services a third-party services is offering. Um, and you should know that project names are unique, across all of GCP. So you don't need to specify the organization when you're setting up, peering. So if I have a project name called uh, Rochester 123, then nobody across GCP can have another project called Rochester 123. So GCP automatically knows the organization based on the project name. So for this lab, I'm actually going to, set up a network pairing between two different, projects. One of the things I'm going to try and do, I will kind of actually quickly show you to you now. I'm going to open up my Cloud Shell here, and I haven't done that. I'm going to open up another section here. As you can see, I'm opening the second shell, but it's pointing to the same project. This guy over here, right? Is pointing to this one over here, which is this. But I have another project here, which is IMAS. So I'm going to keep this one on this project here, but I'm going to point to this one and configure the second one here for my other project. So the first thing I want to do is to kind of copy the project ID of this second system here, which is this one. I'm going to right click and copy it, and then I'm going to come over here and type my G Cloud, and I'm going to use my tab key when possible to complete my typing. It kind of help a little bit if you can leverage it. Config, and I'm going to type search project, and I'm going to use this one and specify my project. And now you can see my shell is in the environment of the other project now, which is very, very important. So the next thing that I'm going to try and do is I'm going to create a network in each of the project, and I'm going to give it a name. So the first one here, I'm going to come here. Here's my first one over here. I'm going to go ahead and create a custom network project. I'm going to create a custom network project. All right, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create a custom network on this place, and I'm going to call it a piece. That's going to be the name of my network, and I'm going to make it custom, which means I'm going to have to manually specify my own subnet. And I'll go right ahead as soon as it's done. I'm going to go ahead and create a subnet that will go along with this implementation. So I will have to wait a little bit. And there you are, it's created a network. I'm going to go ahead and then specify the range of the subnet. Again, I'm going to go ahead and create a subnet. I'm calling it piece central, which could be anything I want, but I'm attributing it to the piece network, so I'm kind of attaching piece to it. And of course, this is my network name, so I'm going to go ahead and press enter here, and I'm going to wait for this to be done. After that, I'm going to go ahead and create a VM, and then I'm going to create a firewall that's going to allow certain traffic to go through this network. And now that my firewall rule is created, I'm going to go ahead and create, my network subnet is created. I'm going to go ahead now and create a firewall rule. As you can see, I'm creating a VM. So I'm creating a VM right now, and I'm calling my VM piece VM, and I'm putting in this zone that I've created over here. So there we go here. And the last thing I'm going to do is to create a firewall that will allow me to connect to that VM. Right now, if I did not create anything, the default firewall rule will be applicable, which will prevent all incoming traffic and will allow all outgoing traffic. obviously that will make it difficult for me to connect to this VM from outside unless you're within, and that will be okay. But so I'm going to need to create a firewall rule that will allow me to connect to this VM from outside. And there you go. So finally, I'm creating a firewall rule, for the network piece over here that will allow me to SSH and also ping the machine. So there you go. Firewall rule is going on. And as I always do, sometimes I like to kind of duplicate my windows here in such a way that will allow me to monitor what is going on, especially in terms of the VM creation. So I'll go over here and I would go ahead and look at the compute engine, look at my VM instance, and I can see my VM piece is been created, and then my firewall here is also done. So the next thing I'm going to do over here is I'm going to flip to the next project over here. And you can see this is CVF 1071 here. IAM, and that's another project. So I'm going to create a network and I'm going to call it OP, and I'm going to make it a custom network as well. I will have to come back and specify my subnet range for this custom network, and after that I'm going to create a VM and create a firewall. Very similar step that I took when I was working on the other project. And after that, the next thing is I'm going to go over here and then go ahead and create my network range. You will realize that I try not to make sure that the network range does not overlap. If your network range overlap, that might be a problem. The other one is 10.000/16. This is 10.800/16. Always make sure you avoid that when you're trying to set up the two networks. You want to make sure that they do not overlap. Otherwise, that will be a problem. And the next thing here is I'm going to go ahead and create a VM called OpVM in this OP network. And finally, I'm going to create the firewall rule that will allow me to SSH from outside into this VM. And in order to see this, you're going to need to open the third tab, because now I'm going to open up another project, and I'll connect. I want to see that. And on this project, actually I'm going to flip over to this project I want you guys to see. And here I have my compute engine here, and you will see going on here. This is OpVM. I'm going to delete this one here. Actually I'll leave it alone for now. So you can see OpVM being created here, and go over here, and I'll just go ahead and do another one here, which is TCP, and I'm going to press enter. Alright, so it looks like everything is set now. If you can look at this project 1071, you have Peace VM, this IAMS, IMR, S, you have OpVM is already there. So now in order for me to set up VP network peering, I'm going to have to come over here and type over here network peering. And here I'm going to create a connection, and I'm just going to call this a piece to hope. And on this section here, I have my piece network, and I'm going to say this is in another project, and this is where I'm going to need the project ID in order for me to be able to select that. And I can easily do that by coming over here, and I will copy what is my project ID here, and I'll come over here and enter my project ID. And since this is unique across Google, this is going to be very, very unique, and it will be able to map it to whatever name you enter here. And since I know my network name over here, the name is Hope. So I'm just going to type over here, and I'm going to select create, and I'm going to wait for this process to go on. And when it's created, it's going to tell me it's waiting for peering on the other network. So here I'm going to copy the ID over here because I know I'm going to need it when I'm creating the peering on the other one here. So here I'm going to come on this side as well, and I'm going to go to VPC network peering, and I'll create peering over here, create here, and here I'm going to type op to peace. That will help me to kind of remember, and I know it's hope here, and I'm going to say this in another project, and it's going to ask me for the name of my stuff here, and I'm going to say it is this. So now this is going to go on to create, and when this is done, if this is successful, it should say connected, because the other network is already waiting for it. So we're just going to wait a little bit to see when these finally come up. So you can see now it said connected, and if you look at this guy, by the time I refresh, refresh the place, now you can see it's showing connected. So the two networks are connected now. Now what is going to be the major difference? The major difference now is I can actually go over on this network here and go to my VM, and I can SSH into the peace VM, and the IP address for peace is 10.0.0.0.2. I'm going to come over here too, and come over here to App Engine, and I'm going to select Hope as well. So you're going to have Peace and Hope VM, both standing right here. And one thing that I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and ping the two machines from each other. So here is Hope, and remember this is Hope network. So I should be able to ping Hope externally regardless of whether I have peering or not. So if I come over here and I say 104.155.160.170, this normally should work, whether there's peering or not peering. The important part is being able to ping the internal IP address, which without peering, that would not happen, it would not work. And I'll demonstrate to you now that I can ping the peering. And you can see now I can ping, I can ping all Hope internal machine from peace. As you can see, they are totally two different systems, and I can do the same thing also from Hope into peace network. I can go over here and say ping 10.0.0.2, and right there I can ping the two machines internally. As you can see, that's just working. I can continue that. So they both can ping one another, as you can see. Now if I go and kill the peering, you will realize that they will no longer be able to talk through the internal network. Why do we actually care about it? What's the business value for this? Well, it's very, very, very simple. You pay a whole lot more when you are accessing a service. Google will charge you, for using external IP address, anytime you're connecting that. So you're paying a whole lot more, right? There's a network latency. Public IP networking suffer higher latency than the private networking, so you get a better performance, going internally. Also, your network security, you have more network security responsibility when you're sending your data wide across the internet. That is something you need to also know, right? Service owners have no need to expose their services to the public internet and deal with the risk that is associated with the internet. And the final one is the network cost. Okay, GCP will charge you for egress bandwidth pricing, which is a lot more higher compared to when you're routing the packets internally. So there's a lot of values for using this option. So I'm just going to demonstrate to you quickly to see what happens if we go back and kill the network peering that we set up. I'm going to go over here again, and I have my VP peering, and I don't even have to kill both of them. I just have to kill one, So I'm going to try and see if I can have both of them right here. I'm going to go over here and just I'm going to delete one of them up here, and it's going to ask me, do I really want to do it? I'm going to say yes, I want to do it, and you can see both of them now going, and then we're going to see once it's become final, so they're going to get stuck. It's still going, but once it takes effect, you're going to see that they will no longer be able to communicate, which is the case now. You can see now peering is successful, and now the two systems are no longer able to ping each other anymore. Now they can still communicate, they just have to use the external interface. So this guy can still ping from outside now. He's now using the external interface, which this guy also can also do, but now they have to do with the network latency because of public IP addressing they're using. They have to do with network security. They have to do with additional costs. Hope you appreciate the value of the network pairing. I just want to kind of demonstrate that to you so you can determine when to use that for yourself. Thank you.